Food Fraud Corner. The 3 simple questions you can ask to decide if an incident is food fraud or not. Food fraud or not? This is a question I ask myself daily when making entries in our food fraud risk information database on Trello. To decide, I use a simple 3-question process. If the answer is yes for all 3 questions, then the incident counts as food fraud. Question 1. Is there deception? And this could be deception of consumers, but it could also be deception of customers like supermarkets or government agencies like border inspectors. Question 2. Is food involved? And question 3. Is there an economic benefit to the perpetrators? A recent case of an international shipment of rice and cookies that was used to conceal drugs was an example of a time I had to ask these questions, wanting to know whether it was food fraud. In this case, there was 1, food, 2, deception, and in this case it was the border agencies that were being deceived, and 3, the intention of economic gain. So that was yes, yes, and yes. And so in my book, that makes it food fraud. And another commentator in the food fraud arena asked about whether this meant that companies had to review their vulnerability assessments. And for me, I think most food businesses would consider that such an incident, as I just described, is both unlikely, and if it did occur, it would be easily detected. So this incident does not point to a newly emerging risk for cookies or soup, and it shouldn't require any new mitigation activities, or rice, I should say. And it shouldn't actually mean that you need to do any different food fraud activities.